socio-economic transformation. Not only development quantitatively, but qualitative jump. This is what happens in nature. A baby is born, grows quantitatively as a baby, a child, but at some stage, he must undergo transformation. When he or she becomes a teenager, certain changes take place in that person. Goes from childhood to teenage and adulthood. This is what happened in Europe. Europe had to undergo socio-economic metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is a process that is normally in biology among the insects, where the organisms undergo different forms. Take the butterfly. The butterfly starts as an egg, becomes a caterpillar, becomes a pupa, and becomes a mature butterfly. This is what happened in Europe. It's a pity that in the universities, they don't teach the political economy, which we are studying at the University of Dar es Salaam, which helped us so much. The laws that govern the evolution of society. If you look at Europe in 1400, it was a three-class society. You had the feudalists, you had the farmers, the peasants, you had the artisans. By the time of the French Revolution, European society had metamorphosed into a four-class society. That is, the feudalists were still there, but a new class had emerged which never existed in human history. This was the middle class. The people who made a living between the difference between the cost of inputs and the final product. What we call profit. Now this class was called the middle class. We, the more ideological, were calling them the bourgeoisie. This was a new social class. It had never existed in human history. They were making a living on profit, while the landlords were making a living on rent, the feudalists. But the middle class came with another class that never existed much in human history. These were the working class, the proletariat. That's what they were calling them. How were they living? They were living on wages, on salaries. They had nothing else to support them except the sale of their labor. And then the peasants were still there. If you go to Europe now, you will no longer find the feudalists, they are no longer there. You will no longer find the peasants, they are no longer there. You now have the middle class and the skilled working class. So here, when we talk of sustainable development, does it include transformation of the society? If you have a peasant producing another peasant, and you go to the villages, you find 3 generations of peasants, grandfather, father, grandchild, they are all there. This is very dangerous. So therefore, I would really appeal to the thinkers to also emphasize this issue of qualitative jump of the society.